Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome wherever you are. Welcome to the Groovy Podcast. This is Groovy Podcast. I believe we're up to episode 40 now, live from GR8Conf in New Delhi, in India. Today we just ended the first day. There's a second day full of workshops, but the crowd here has been great. You could see all the, well, I guess you can't see all the people, but they're there, you know, and we had a really good time. Joining me on the podcast, we have good old Søren. Glasius, do you want to say hi?
Hey folks, how's it going?
Søren is based in Copenhagen? Right?
No, but somewhere in Denmark.
Somewhere
about 3 hours from Copenhagen. Yeah.
I didn't know Denmark was big enough to have anything 3 hours.
No, who would have known, but
yeah,
it does.
Søren, of course, is the founder of the whole GR8Conf series and makes enormous royalties every time somebody uses the GR8Conf name, right?
Yeah, I wish.
Do I have to send you a check now that I just brought it up?
No.
You know? No? Okay. We also have Burt Beckwith, who has done enormous contributions in Grails and Groovy as well, but not to mention the creator of the Spring Security plugin, as well as many other plugins. Also worked on Gorm issues.
Technically, no. I mean, it was an evolution from the CG plugin. So Tsuyoshi Yamamoto.
So every time I make a statement, I'm going to get corrected. Is that what's going to happen? Yeah. Okay. Which brings me.
No, not every time.
That was very good. That's very, lob that softball over the plate. You hit it. Very good. And of course, that brings us to last, but definitely not least, we have Puneet Behl, who is a member of the staff at To The New. Yeah. Digital, or just To The New in general? To The New. Yeah. Yes, a company that has probably more Grails developers certainly than any company I've ever visited.
I think we have the biggest Grails team in the world.
How many people roughly?
Around 125 approximately.
Yeah, so just outstanding. We got a chance to visit there yesterday, and people were charming. We had a really good time. So at any rate, we just want to talk about the experiences today at the summit and everything. Do you want to bring up anything yourself, or?
I asked the conference organizer in Denmark and the founder of GR8Conf, co-founder of GR8Conf. I think they're doing an excellent job down here, keeping up with the GR8Conf name. So that makes me really happy to be here. It's awesome that they have taken up the token and running with it.
We also have had people from all over the country here. We've got some from, at least I met somebody from Hyderabad. And where else do we have people from? Pune?
Yeah.
Mumbai? Yeah. Any others?
Bangalore.
Bangalore?
Yeah.
These are all cities I've heard of. I'm doing really well here. This is good.
Bengaluru.
Bengaluru, right? Yeah. Got to roll the R, I think. Bengaluru. Okay. Burt, of course, is based in the Boston area, right? See, I'm trying to not say Boston, so you could say, no, I'm not in Boston. Right?
Yeah, I live in Somerville.
Right? And
the most densely populated city in the U.S.
Somerville is the most densely populated city in the U.S., which is something they would laugh at in India, I imagine. Right? Yeah, densely populated in the U.S. don't really go.
Manhattan is more densely populated, of course, but it's just one of the boroughs. So if you factor in, Long Island and Queens and everything, it averages up a little bit less. 75,
this is getting very technical.
Yeah, well, it depends on who's on the podcast, right? And Puneet, of course, is from here. Right?
From here in India, Delhi. So.
From Delhi. So today the format was there were 2 tracks. We had a keynote, and then we had a couple of tracks on interesting discussions. What did you give a talk on? Yours was?
I gave on Dockerize it all. So it is about Dockerize our applications, use Docker containers. So, yeah,
very popular topic these days. Using any Groovy or Grails application inside containers.
Yeah, basically it's resolved. It says that you have application and libraries shipped together, so you don't need to install Groovy, Grails, or anything on your OS or servers. So you just ship an image, and that's it. You have to run it. The advantage it gives us is it's very easy to migrate from one infrastructure to another. So let's say you need to move from on-premises to cloud. So you can just you need to have a Docker engine installed over there, and you just pull up the image. That's it.
That's very useful, very helpful. I also know that Puneet has worked on many plugins for Grails, migrating them from 2 to 3. which we just decided was apparently a very difficult process, and yet Puneet has navigated it successfully in many, many cases, right?
Yeah, by the way, I'm also taking care of Elasticsearch plugin.
Oh.
Grails 3, so yeah.
Which has become very popular. I mean, I remember when Lucene was the way to go, and then it was Solar, and now it seems to be Elasticsearch.
Yeah.
You use Lucene under the hood.
Yeah, it's Lucene under the hood, but it's Elasticsearch.
They both do. I think Solar's too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I think so.
It's all Lucene.
I don't know. I used to just put in the search plugin, and then it worked right away. You know,
Searchable used Lucene.
Yeah, Searchable used. Yeah, I knew that's what Searchable used Lucene. That's what I knew it from.
They all, I think.
Yeah. So, at any rate, Elasticsearch is just a very popular API these days. In any case, so that's good. Burt, what are you working on these days related to Groovy Grills, or anything you're particularly interested or wanted to comment on? Your talk today. What was your talk called again?
Has many considered harmful. So my favorite talks that I've done in the past few years have been not so much things that you should do, but things you shouldn't do. So the best practices talks, things that are bad and better ways to do things. And so this was a talk on how we unknowingly, unwittingly sabotage the performance of our applications by using mapped collections and Grails that have these really hidden and potentially really massive performance problems and artificial optimistic locking exceptions and that sort of thing. And so it's talking about some patterns that I've been advocating for years now. It was actually an update of a talk that I did. The first time I spoke at a conference in 2009, I did a talk, and this is basically just an updated version of that. And so the same ideas apply just as much now as they did 8 years ago. So basically saying, don't do what the Grails documentation tells you to do, but do the right thing and make some changes, do a little bit more work for potentially huge benefits of performance and scalability and fewer bugs and more joy, more happiness.
Now you're doing a workshop tomorrow as well?
I'm not.
No, you're not. So are you all set? You're all done?
Yeah, it's time for me to do a lot of drinking, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we don't want to discourage that in any way.
Captain, he is known as the Captain Burt.
Oh.
I'm a double captain.
Double captain, yeah.
Yeah, there's stories on that too, which we're not going to go into. So, are you doing anything else? Are you all set today?
I'm assisting Søren with the Grails 3 workshop, so we probably might be working together.
How'd you get an assistant?
I asked him.
And you got him as an assistant, no less.
Yes, I'm lucky.
I don't have an assistant.
Well,
wow.
You
Okay.
forgot to ask for it.
Apparently, I mean, who knew? Yeah, I'm doing a workshop on Grails, Groovy and Java 8, which I had a talk today on Groovy and Java 8, which was a summary of some Java 8 functional features, and then what does Groovy bring to the table? How do they do similar things, and then what do they do to go beyond it? Things like memoize and tail recursive ASD transforms, as well as other features as well. So tomorrow we're going to actually code some of this stuff. But I don't have an assistant, slash slave to help out on this particular mechanism. So, oh well, what are you going to do? We do see Baruch isn't here, so somebody's got to provide the weird humor. We'll have to see if Baruch actually watches this too.
Oh, damn.
Were there any talks that you managed to attend that you found interesting, or any developments you heard about that you thought were interesting?
Turned quiet.
Nobody cared about anything. I thought the reactive talk was pretty good. I mean, the discussion about reactive in general, but of course the implementations were using RX Java, but in Groovy. It's, with any Java library, you can use it in Groovy without a problem. So that was pretty fun.
Where's Naresha Groovy?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think that's what he was using at the moment. I don't remember the details, but I think it was just purely discussions of reactive in general and using RX Java as a sample to work inside there. There was also a nice discussion about the case study moving from a monolithic Grails app to ultimately to something functional in like AWS Lambda.
Yeah, fast.
Yeah, that was interesting.
AAS.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, what was the presenter's name?
Function as a service.
But no, the presenter.
Fast. Presenter Mike.
Wiskowski?
What's his name?
Wyszynski.
Wyszynski. Mike Wyszynski.
Who blew us off, right? He's just not here. He probably didn't know we were going to do this, but I don't want to give him a hard time. I don't know him that well. So, yeah, he's based in the Denver area, works with a client of To the New, and that was a very well attended discussion and very interesting. He was telling me that there are issues with making a change like that, going from the monolith all the way to FAS, function as a service, because the abstractions are so fundamentally different. I mean, it's one thing to migrate a microservice over to a function-based architecture. It's another thing where you have Grails that's providing so much infrastructure and basic services, and replacing all that with services in an infrastructure that you have very little control over instead. But that was very well attended. That was very interesting. Any other talks that you?
Yeah, I went to Burt's talk, and I got to rewrite some functionality, I think.
Are you depressed now?
A little bit.
Yeah, I went to Søren's talk, so that was amazing. Java 8 and Groovy. So yeah, I think that there was much for the audience to grasp about.
I did Java 8 and Groovy. What was Søren doing?
Oh,
you went to my talk.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah.
That's what I said.
That's right. You were in the front. Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of things that was covered, like annotations and yeah. So that was pretty cool. So I think it might be interesting for the audience to come over on the workshop and see the demo and get a hands-on experience.
Now I really do have to put all that together, don't I? Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. But the reason I didn't recognize you, of course, is you had this beard. It seems to have gone away, and oh well, what can you do? So, at any rate, I think the attendance was somewhere between 150 and 200 people, roughly 180, I'm guessing, something like that. It was very full room, a lot of people here, a huge contingent from To the New, of course, because they were are they the sponsor or one of the sponsors?
I think the
sponsor, and we definitely want to thank them for that. Doing a wonderful job in many ways for the community, and this is one of them, definitely. Trying to think.
Just going to move over there. The logo's right there behind us.
Oh, the logo. Yeah, right. You can actually see on those people who are not listening to the podcast but are watching it on the Google Hangout or on YouTube, you could see something about To the New. Not a whole lot, where you can see it there too.
It's on this side of the t-shirt I get.
Oh, really? Over here? Is that it? Yeah, this is getting
We all take our
strange.
Stop.
And all this is without Baruch. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness. Any rate, so it was a 1 day last year. The conference was 1 day last year, and this year it's 2 days with the basic sessions today and 2 separate tracks. And then tomorrow we've got the 3 parallel workshops, I think. The one on Grails, one on Groovy and Java 8. What's the third one?
Code retreat.
Yeah, what's going to be in the code retreat?
So you'll have a problem, and we'll have a problem, and you go through multiple languages to solve this problem with different ways, with some 45 minutes of sessions.
Yeah, so the idea is to pair up with people and work.
Come on up. Yeah. This Manoj.
Naresha, he's the one.
Yeah, what are you doing here? Come on up, man.
Scoot over.
Oh, there's no reason you couldn't get in the camera here somewhere. There we go.
Hey everyone.
You can come here.
This is. Why don't you say your name, because I'll mess it up.
My name is Naresha. So today I presented 2 talks, and tomorrow I'll be facilitating a code retreat. Code retreat is a day-long intensive coding workshop wherein you get away from the business deadlines and focus on practicing and improving your skills. So what essentially you are going to do is you're going to solve. People are going to do is they're going to solve Conway's game of life problem. So developers will pair up, and they'll try to solve the problem while honoring 4 rules of simple design, which was proposed by Ken Beck. So after 45 minutes of coding, you're going to delete the code, which is a must, and they're going to retrospect on what went well, what did they learn, etc. And this is going to repeat with the different patches.
So it's like a more structured hacker garden.
Yeah, it's like Hacker Garden,
Right.
But with structure and sort of not necessarily rules, but that sounds great.
And what were your talks today?
The first one was on reactive programming
Right.
with RX Java and Groovy language.
But not RX Groovy, right? We kind of established that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And second one was on Think Beyond frameworks The real gems are in the languages. The reason why I picked that is because I saw many people using Grails, but they are not able to produce good quality applications because of lack of knowledge about the language itself. So if you really understand the powerful features that Groovy gives to you, along with the productivity benefit that Grails gives, you're really going to develop awesome applications. So that the whole point was to encourage people to learn more at the language level.
Excellent. And where are you based?
I'm from Bangalore.
Bangalore. Oh, so okay. So you can. And what was your name? You said
Naresha.
no, but more than that. Oh, it's just the last is just K or whatever.
Yeah. Yes. And I also
Probably a 35-character name.
and I also organize Groovy meetups in Bangalore. So probably that's the only Groovy meetup in India.
Well, thank you for that. Definitely. You know, that's great. Was there anybody else we wanted to? You can stay. You know, you don't have to run away if you don't want to. Anybody else we want to bring up and recognize or say something to? Did you want to say anything about to the new about the company or anything like that? If you're well,
Yeah, come here.
please feel free. Come on up. Yeah, you can definitely replace Puneet. He got rid of the beard. It's just not the same. You know.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Deepak. I'm CEO and co-founder of this company called To The New, which was earlier known as IntelliGrape. I think our claim to fame is that we have the biggest and the most passionate Grails team in the world. And we are really delighted to have, be organizing this conference. We never imagined when we started 7.5 years back, we never imagined that we'll grow this big, that, we'll be doing a conference like this. We'll be having speakers like you guys coming over and, doing a talks here, because we always had to go to Europe and US to attend talks, to learn from the creators. So it's really, really fun, honored, pleasure, delight to be having this conference, having the presence of celebrity Grails, Groovy community celebrities here. So really, really delighted and honored.
Puneet's already happy. You don't have to butter him up now.
Now we have a celebrity here.
But that does show it's really great to have someone who's actually the head of the company be so interested in the fundamental technologies and willing to support everything. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you. I used to be a competent developer till some time back, but I went to the dark side and now I don't code anymore.
Now you're a manager.
I'm
right.
Right.
Well,
Thanks
wonderful.
so
Okay, thank you. Anybody else we should recognize? Anything? Do you want to say the organization so far has been outstanding? I mean, everything is happening on time. Everything's available. There's not been any lack of anything. So we've got another day, but so far so good, And I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming. And we will be doing another Groovy podcast. We're on roughly, I guess, about a 3-week schedule these days. You can always find the Groovy podcast. Either we have a channel on YouTube. We also have the homepage for the Groovy podcast, which is hosted by nofluffjuststuff.com conference. If you go to nofluffjuststuff.com/Groovy podcasts, all of them are there. Of course, most people, the dozen or so who do listen are listening through an RSS feed, which we also supply through Podbean. So there are many ways to listen to this, and we encourage you to send us feedback. We also have a Twitter handle at Groovy Podcast as well, but we don't have a Facebook page yet. Baruch said he was going to do that, and he hadn't gotten around to it. So give Baruch a hard time when you see him. Just in general, just a good plan. So thank you very much, and hope you have a good time where you are, and we will talk to you again later. Thank you. Bye-bye.